Hey guys, so for this video, I'm gonna show off 6 unique ways to get better at Fortnite. This will be kinda similar to the video I made a few weeks ago about different things you can do while you're bored, but this one will focus primarily on different creative maps and game modes you should try out. That means they're not gonna be your normal edit course or aim trainer. If that's what you came here for, then unfortunately you clicked on the wrong thumbnail. Everything I'm gonna show is a completely new minigame or a spin on an existing practice map that you've never seen before, and that will actually help you improve. Plus, all of them are extremely fun and will cure your boredom until the new season that's dropping soon. So with that in mind, the first unique way to improve at Fortnite is to load up locked-in box fights by the boy Dilly. As the name implies, this game mode adds a new angle to the boring box fights we're all used to. What happens is up to 16 people spawn in a large enclosed arena. You're given a set loadout that's the same as everyone else's, 5 seconds to set up, and then the fighting begins. You can spray with your AR to engage someone from a distance, but when you and another player enter the same grid, you become locked in together. A big orange barrier forms around your mini arena, making it impossible to escape or for other players on the outside to enter, and it only goes down after one of you die. The coolest part about it though is that the complex barrier system allows for multiple 1v1s at the same time and for numerous fights in a row. So say you just get out of a fight and the barrier finally goes down, a different player could engage you and bring the barrier right back up. It's a pretty sick and simple concept. The reason it will help you improve is that it's way better than the box fights you're used to. I'm talking about the 5x5x2 maps that Clix and Unknown Army use, where you sit on one side right hand peeking the entire time. There's really no strategy or thought involved with those maps, it's just whoever can hit a fatter pump after making a peanut butter edit. With locked-in box fights on the other hand, there's 3 different levels of verticality and much more space to make fights interesting. I guarantee none of your fights will end up with you and another person just trying to outpeak each other. You're actually able to freely move around and utilize different levels in the arena even as you're locked in. The other important thing this map does is it makes those close range 1v1s realistic. In a real game, you're never going to be doing anything you see Clix do in a box fight wager. Sure, those box fights help improve your edits and your aim, but so does this new game mode on top of actually simulating a real game box fight. So for all of you guys looking for a different way to get better, locked-in box fights definitely takes the cake. By the way, if you need people to play with, don't be afraid to join my Discord server called the Turtle Gang. We have over 40,000 members always looking to play different creative games and maps. All you gotta do is just join it through the Discord link in the description. The next unique thing you can do to get better is play GearZiz's realistic 1v1 mode. You only need one other person to play this, and there's no weird rules or difficult mechanics to understand. Each round you're given a completely random loadout designed for the mid-game. That means it will not be all gold, nor will it be all white. The arena itself is extremely similar to the land around Misty Meadows and Lazy Lake. There's chests and floor loot you can pick up, and there's even water you can swim in. Lastly, you will either spawn on high ground near the north side of the map, or if you get unlucky, you'll spawn on the low ground near the south side of the map. Your one and only goal is to kill the other person and obviously not die yourself. Now, the reason why I love this game mode is similar to the last map in that it's extremely realistic. I don't know about you guys, but I just don't feel like a lot of your creative 1v1 skills transfer into real games. They're obviously still important for helping you retain your building skills and helping you learn new moves, but it's just not the same as 1v1s in actual matches. What is are the fights you get into on GearZiz's map. There's no stupid 1v1 starts which usually dictate the entire fight. There's no grapplers or turning off fall damage for when you mess up during a build battle, and there's no endlessly cranking to height limit. These 1v1s truly play out like a mid-game fight you'll get into in a cash cup or a tournament. So if you're like me and you absolutely hate playing against brainless creative warriors, tell them to 1v1 you here where it actually matters. Third unique way to improve is to do what every pro player has been doing and grinding search and destroy. Literally an hour before I was gonna record this video, Epic went ahead and added an official search and destroy game mode. I'm still gonna include this section anyways, even though they went ahead and spoiled my surprise. Anyways, inspired by games like Call of Duty and CSGO, Fortnite Search and Destroy is everything you could ever want and more. The way it works is 2 teams of up to 6 people spawn at opposite sides of the map, 1 team on offense, 1 team on defense. The offender's objective objective is to plant and destroy either of the bombs, while the defender's objective is to stop them from doing that. Additionally, each round is 2 minutes long. Each player spawns with a pistol as well as a set amount of gold they can use to buy weapons. And finally, extra gold is rewarded for kills, bomb plants, defuses, and other strategic checkpoints. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, depending on which map you play, there's little to no building. Yep, you heard that correctly. Most of the time, there's no building at all. This should make sense to those of you who've played something like this before, but in regards to this video, you're probably confused. How on earth could playing a game mode without building make you better at the core battle royale? I honestly had the same exact question until I played some of these maps myself and started to see its full potential. Right off the bat, your aim and ability to take smart peeks will improve. You'll have to think about each and every shot you take in exactly the way you're gonna do it. Next, the mechanic most people overlook that you'll undoubtedly improve is your movement. Movement is one of the hardest things to get better at in Fortnite. Outside of maybe death runs, there's not many ways to master it. That was until Search and Destroy came around. Because there's no building, you have to actively think about your movement and where you're going to position. In real games and other modes with building, your movement doesn't really matter as much because as long as you can place down a wall or ramp, you can protect yourself. However, the same cannot be said about Search and Destroy. If you cannot strafe and juke out your opponent to get behind cover, then you're dead. Every step you take and where you go matters a ton, thus your movement will get better. Last thing regarding Search and Destroy I wanted to mention is that this is by far the most fun game mode I've ever played. There's tons of awesome maps like Fiber's Seaside Bay, Mega's Dust 2, or Enigma's S&D. All of them are insanely fun to play with your friends or even random people in creative fill. So I know not much building may seem weird, but trust me on this, Search and Destroy is the wave. Second to last map I wanted to show off is another one by the legend GearZiz that he calls High Speed Hot Drops. Essentially, it's an early game practice map designed to help you survive hot drops. Everyone spawns in the sky and just like in a real game, has to glide down to the houses below. There's chests, floor loot, slurp barrels, and other cool features within the arena. And speaking of the arena, the layout is very similar to Pleasant Park and honestly looks like it could be a real POI in game. After you drop and loot up, you have about 2 minutes until the storm starts closing in, just as it would in Zone Wars. What this map will help you with is making it past the early game. I can't even count the amount of times I've been asked myself how you can practice early game fights. My usual answer is just to go into a public match and hot drop at the nearest POI. This is still a good strategy and practice route, but I honestly think GearZiz's map is better. Outside of using arena settings and playing out like a contested early game should, you can repeatedly practice it over and over again. Let's say you went with my approach and tried to hot drop in real solos, there's a really good chance you only get into a few fights and die. From there, you'd have to queue up again, wait in the lobby, and waste time loading into another match. In high speed hot drops though, the rounds are fast, the people you play against will actually be good, and you're only focusing on the early game. This is kind of the same thought process as to why Zone Wars are good practice as well. All your core mechanics and game sense are improving because you're playing Fortnite, and you're focusing on getting a ton of practice fast at one specific stage of the game. Zone Wars is for end games, and high speed hot drops is for the early game. So if you're someone who struggles at making it to the mid game and late game, this game mode is definitely for you. The last unique way to improve is not a specific map or game mode, it's actually a new way to practice on existing maps and training courses. What you do is go into your settings, over to the heads up display options or HUD settings, and turn off your reticle. Then load up any edit map you please and practice your edits like you normally would. This is something I learned from Orange Guy in his video on how to edit faster, and when you think about it, it makes perfect sense when you're trying to increase your editing speed. The reason people like Mongrel and Benji can edit so fast is because of how elite their crosshair placement is. Therefore, by removing your crosshair, you're training your brain to edit without looking at it. This will in turn improve your muscle memory because you're mastering where your crosshair should be, and will improve your editing speed since you'll automatically know how to make the edit. So anytime you're in creative, grinding on an edit course, take some time out to practice with your reticle off. Just make sure you remember to turn it back on before you hop into an actual match. Overall guys, those are some of the most unique ways to improve at Fortnite. I'll leave a link down below to all the map codes and their creators in case you missed them, as well as the Turtle Gang Discord I run if you need people to play with. But if you enjoyed the video, then do be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and to turn on my post notifications. Shout out to everyone using code Jarian. Remember, if you want a shout out, to DM me on Instagram or Twitter, because my messages have been kinda dry lately. Otherwise, that's it from me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.